What's good with the family today? You know, this topic of discussion of Nolan Wells, I wasn't going to touch basis on it because I didn't want to add to the race conversation, especially when I seen Ben Crump and Al Sharpton participating in this. Because every time they participate in something, it's about race. But you know, race, it's a social construct. But race in America is something that is one of the most profitable elements of this country. You know, Jasmine Crockett had a lot to say during this conversation with TMZ. She said it looks like a racial thing to me. Let's get into this video of what she had to say, and then we're going to break it down. I appreciate y'all tuning in to my show. Let's get to it, though. Let's get to it.
Yes. All right, Congresswoman, I wanted to get your thoughts on the Nolan Wells investigation. Some people feel like it's racially motivated. What do you think?
I mean, I think that specifically as Black Americans in the United States right now, we are always going to question whether or not there is a racial motivation, but also if you know the history of Mississippi, I think that you'd have to be blind not to question potentially what is happening, especially in the case of an 18-year-old who ends up deceased without his cell phone, without any communication whatsoever with anybody, prior to ending up deceased, and he was out with his Caucasian friends, and then law enforcement tells everybody there's no foul play to be suspected. Now, a blind man could see that there's something to investigate, and so I want to applaud the legal team, Ben Crump and his team, as well as his parents, for not giving up and accepting no as an answer.
Well, it sounds like you think it is racially motivated.
I absolutely think that, I can tell you that we don't have any answers, but if you think that race is not something to look at, then you are not really trying to investigate.
So what do you think?
Well, I mean, you know me, I'm a civil rights lawyer. I mean, I'm looking at it, I'm looking at the fact that these white kids deleted their social media accounts. It's not like they sat down and talked to law enforcement. It's not even like law enforcement decided that they wanted to sit down and talk to them. They decided, oh, the little black boy ended up dead without his cell phone, without his friends, going and telling his parents, oh yeah, we got the cell phone. They got to go and track down the phone and find the phone. It looks like a racial thing to me, but hey, maybe we'll find out that it wasn't.
Well, what's interesting is we had his football coach on our TV show today, and he said that there was never any racial tension between any of the students or anything like that. So I mean, that kind of points that maybe this wasn't racially motivated.
I mean, I can't say what even the cause of death really is. We know that there's an independent autopsy that's going on, but I can tell you that race is absolutely playing a role. What role? Whether it had to do with his death, whether it had to do with the fact that maybe your friends left you to die, or your friends didn't care that maybe you did die. I do believe that there's a racial component, or if it's just in law enforcement not feeling as if Nolan Wells was worthy of an actual investigation, but instead decided that there was no foul play, seemingly with no evidence, without talking to any witnesses. That to me is where there are racial components to this for sure. But I will not say that I know for sure that race played a role in his death.
Are you in the camp of if Nolan was white and his friends were...
Yeah.
Okay.
The friends, listen, they would have absolutely been under the jail with no questions asked first.
Really?
But for sure.
Okay.
We already know this. Like, we know how, I mean, think about it this way.
You're saying it's a done deal. If Nolan was white, his friends would be...
If Nolan was white, they would be in jail. They would ask questions later. It is the same thing that they do with anything else. When you look at law enforcement and how law enforcement treats a black person in general, a black person with no gun, they somehow get so scared that they end up dead. But you end up taking, say, a white racist killer who decided to go into a church and gun down a bunch of folk. They took Dylan Roof with no problems. We know that he was a known killer at the time, right? So, like, they fear black skin. And they treat black skin a lot differently when it comes to the criminal justice system.
You know, I'm sure some people out there will look at this and maybe think like Jasmine Crockett doesn't know what she's talking about. So to them, you have to say what?
They will walk a day in my shoes. That's what I have to say. I have lived it. I have seen it. I am someone who has been in the courtroom as a trained attorney doing criminal defense work as well as civil rights work. I know what bad policing looks like. I know what it looks like when communities are consistently under siege, And frankly, if you don't understand that we have race issues in this country, when just in 1 week, ICE has gunned down 2 people that they allegedly weren't even looking for, then you're not paying attention. They only did that because they were brown. But your phone is not
I
on,
gotta
so-
apologize. This is like, I feel like I'm like wetting my pants right now. Like, my phone, of course, goes off with my embarrassing ringtone.
Well,
Thank you.
I can't
you.
get it.
I know. It's all right. It's all right. Gosh darn it. Well, I appreciate you. All right.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
So much.
Thank you.
You know, let me give a round of applause to Jasmine Crockett. She receives a lot of hate on the internet, but when she speaks like that, I'm going to give her another round of applause. You know, if there is no evidence, race should be a part of the equation. You know, in America, you may have friendships and relationships with the opposite race. I have plenty myself. You know, I have people that is of other ethnicities that I have a lot of love for. And the piece when she said, Nolan, if he was white, it would be a different outcome. That is so true. Because I look at certain instances and the level that the government is willing to take it to based upon race, it's just interesting, man. To me, you know, you can have friendships with people. They may have thought that he was their friend. He may have thought that they was his friend. But at the end of the day, we have different circumstances. We live totally different lives, and we come from totally different cultures. You know, them deleting their accounts also is something that's interesting because it means that something is hidden. They got something to hide. Real talk. If you delete your account, that means you got something to hide. And the history of Mississippi too. Also, you know, I'm from Tennessee myself, and like I said before earlier, I got a lot of white friends myself though. But I know when, where to hang with them. You know, I got a lot of respect for them though. But at the end of the day, I gotta protect myself first. Let's read a little bit more of this article and see what's going on. The Congresswoman from Texas told Jacob her spidey senses were on high alert when she heard Nolan disappear in the presence of 3 white guys. In America, everything is based upon race. Race is the most monetizable asset other than water to me in this country. Guys who quickly deleted their social media and Nolan leaving his cell phone behind. That's significant, him leaving his cell phone behind. She says this is not just a problem with the Nolan's case. It's a problem in Mississippi, where she says you have to be blind not to question race plays a part in such a case. Jacob challenged Crockett, saying Nolan's football coach appeared on TMC Live Tuesday and said there was no racial tension that he knew of with the Nolans and his friends. And is he black? Let's play this. Hold up. It's a commercial plan. You know, we're going to let that commercial go by, and then we're going to play it to see what this coach said. Real talk. Let me turn my audio down.
So Tracy, what his parents think happened here? Do they believe this was just an unfortunate accident, tragedy, or that it's something more sinister?
I was in Ocean Springs when it happened, and I was still in disbelief when I got the news that Nolan was missing. So when I got all the details surrounding the case, that they told me he was out at Horn Island, and he came up missing or whatnot. I talked with his dad, and we just had conversation. That was kind of after the fact when they had found his body, because I was just giving the family their respect that they deserve, and when everything first took place. But I was sharing all the detail that the family was sharing, just putting the word out there, and just so everybody could be on notice and everybody be paying attention.
When you say you talked to the dad, did he kind of accept this as an accident and a tragedy, or was he more suspicious?
Well, no, he was more so just searching for answers right now, because it had just happened, and there was a lot of questions still unanswered.
Usually high school football stars have a pretty close relationship with their coaches. What
can you tell us about just Nolan as a human being?
Nolan was a great young man, with a big personality. Everybody gravitated to Nolan because of his smile. He just wanted everybody to be happy, and he was a joy to coach, a joy to be around. To sum Nolan up, long story short, Nolan is a guy that I would let date my daughter.
I mean, there were rumblings that he may have gotten into an argument, that there might have been a confrontation or something like that. I mean, was he a guy who would stand up, where, his hackles would go up, or was he more of a get-along type guy?
He more of a get along type guy. Don't get me wrong. Now, if something happened, he'll defend himself. But I knew right then in that video that wasn't Nolan.
One of the theories is that that he was drinking and that there was a riptide that day, and that maybe he got caught in a bad current out there. Knowing him as an athlete, and we've heard that he did know how to swim, would that surprise you if he ended up in that situation?
I mean, it would surprise me, that happened, but like I said, man, I'm just waiting till the family, give out, details of what they done gathered.
Was there racial tension at this school?
No, I don't think it was no racial intention at the school, from my experience. Cause you have, predominant white school, you have black kids there, and they all, played and grew up together and got along. Now, some stuff might have happened that I didn't see. So, I can't speak wholeheartedly on it, but from what I did see, it was a tight-knit community, you know what I mean?
That brother said Nolan is a guy I will let date my daughter. That's interesting, man. They also got a few words wrong. Both of, the TMZ guy said, was there any racial tension at the school? And the coach said intention. They may have not understood what each other was saying, or they may have not. I don't know. Because intentions and tension is two totally different things. But I'm going to continue to keep my eye out on this. I want to see what proceeds from this. I want to say I hope the parents get answers immediately, because I don't know what it feels like to lose someone that close to me and not have answers to why they're not here no more. So race should play a part in this, because everything else in America, race plays a part in it. Tell me I'm lying. I would like to know y'all thoughts about this situation in the comment section below. Let's further this discussion, man. I'll be down there right when you comment. I'll be right back to reply, to get educated or to educate you of some things that I have learned. I appreciate y'all tuning in to my show. Peace, love, plenty, abundance. Make sure you go get you some money, and I'm gone. Chill.
The Trevor Jackson Podcast.